Welcome to Season 1. I feel like the game is actually coming out now. That level-capped beta we were in before is finally over. I can play the game again. Alright, been a while. Plenty to talk about, but I'm going to zero in on the challenge and progression stuff first, because that's what I do. The seasonal challenge system we knew was coming is here. A tiny recap, because I know their weird system has many people still confused. There are 20 seasonal challenges for each zombies and multiplayer, where one is unlocked every 10 levels up to level 200. So mainly a level grinding system with a few challenges along the way. You get a calling card for each one and a season mastery card for each mode for doing all 20. Remember that XP is now unified and shared across all of Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Cold War, every mode going to the same XP and level. You can play whatever you want to be working on this system. Same thing for progressing the Battle Pass, but the items in the pass are for Cold War and Warzone, not Modern Warfare, outside of the shared Warzone vehicles. One new piece of information we got here is that once you unlock a seasonal challenge, you have it forever. You can continue to work on it in future seasons. So if you get to level 200 in the season, but don't finish the challenges, that's okay. You can go for that season mastery calling card at any time. There's no time pressure if one challenge is especially hard, or you weren't going for them at all because you were playing Warzone the whole time. Looking at the challenges themselves, well, they're all blocked out, but since a few days ago we could see a better hint of them in the Barracks calling cards menu, the titles and number requirements give a decent sense of what we'll be getting. There does look to be a fair amount of grind here. Maybe I'll end up covering some of them, or the whole system like Modern Warfare. We'll see if there's anything worth talking about. Level 200 is the level of Prestige Master, but thankfully you can keep going all the way to 1000 every season now. You'll earn a Prestige every 50 levels up to Prestige 7, because they felt the need to cap that. They're only adding 4 per season, but you do keep getting Prestige keys every 50 levels if you want to keep grinding away. Here they've laid out exactly what you get at each milestone level. I thought this was when we would be able to spend prestige keys and see what that system looks like, but where's the prestige shop at? It ain't here. I actually found it in Warzone, sort of, but it just references Cold War. So I assume it will be in this spot before too long. Maybe I'm recording this too early and it'll be added in the next couple days, or maybe that was postponed to some other time. They didn't make any mention of it in the blog, so keep collecting those keys, I guess, and we'll see if someday there's anything more to that shop than unlocking a few emblems and apparently calling cards. I'd love to see something interesting for unlocking them all, or saving up keys to get cooler stuff. Doubt it, but still waiting on that prestige shop. Moving away from the Cold War seasonal level stuff, Warzone got a set of 16 little challenges as part of the 20-day Rebirth Island launch event. It's a similar setup to the Halloween thing, but with challenges instead of looting for treats. They've also said daily challenges are planned for later in the season, where you can complete up to 9 each day. They mentioned 3 in each category of recon, combat, and support, and that you can swap them out to play how you want, like what mode you want to be playing across all of Cold War and Warzone. It seems to already be somewhat live in Warzone, but just not fully rolled out with the Cold War modes, so a bit of a daily challenge rework, which is cool, but they only mention them being for additional XP bonuses. The only other challenge thing I can find to mention is that just like last year, there are operator skin challenges. When you unlock one through the Battle Pass, you can do a few challenges to get a couple variants of that skin. There's your Season 1 progression stuff. Some thoughts on all that? Well, thank God the low level cap is gone. I've been waiting on that for a while now. I'm mostly just excited to go for Dark Ether now that my XP isn't being wasted. The seasonal challenge system seems alright. Most of that is old info though. The new thing about seasonal challenges being unlocked forever, I definitely think that's a nice touch to make things a bit less stressful if you're worried about running out of time for a challenge, or you maybe want to do all the zombies challenges and leave the multiplayer for some other time down the road. Good quality of life feature. It also enables them to have much harder, longer challenges without that ruining things for players with less time to grind. Because once it's unlocked, you have as much time as you want. It's fine for them to make a big challenge. The prestige keys I thought I'd get to talk about, cause that shop being cool or not is the main thing that'll decide if grinding past level 200 will feel worthwhile or not. Cause yeah, if it's just some old emblems and cards where you pick the few you like and then feel done with it and maybe spend the rest of the keys on some XP tokens, then yikes. I have heard some people are able to see the shop, like sort of glitch into it, and there were all the prestige cards and emblems in there. It didn't look completely done. We'll see if there's anything else to it when it appears officially someday. Finally, the daily challenges. I guess we'll see more when they fully roll out. I like that they're being changed, and I do like that you can apparently pick what to play. Like, I want all my dailies to be about zombies, and I want to pick these 3 to work on. But they can never sound very interesting if they're just for XP again. It's not as bad as last year when XP felt meaningless with the low 155 cap, but still, XP isn't hard to come by. I'd rather just focus on the actual permanent challenges than waste time going out of my way for probably 2500 XP. That may literally not be worth the time to go for, never mind the effort. If it's like 10k per challenge, then maybe that's semi-worth doing, but still not very fun. And if you go too high, like 50k per challenge, well, that can be a bit of a problem in that it becomes a chore you feel forced to do. Like, hold on, I can't play the game yet, I gotta do my dailies because they're too efficient to ignore. I usually use World War II's dailies as an example of something fun to hop on and knock out because they provided a useful side currency. XP is just not an interesting reward. But I know it would be dumb to implement an extra currency here. I'm not suggesting that. And you could say XP sort of correlates to prestige keys in the long run. But the point is that XP is easy to get without bothering with the tiny challenges. So some suggestions of what I think would be interesting. Maybe at least some sort of tracker for how many dailies I've done. Maybe some long-term goal of doing 500 dailies gives you some cool thing. Or if there are going to be little rewards for dailies eventually, like the random loot items in Modern Warfare, they would just have to make them not repeat things that you already have, and have a collection system where you can see what you've done and what you're still missing. I think hopping on for a daily would be really fun if I were filling out a collection of daily challenge rewards. Like, I assume they'd dump some more filler junk into the loot pool each season for you to fill out your collection one by one with no dupes. I would find that way more engaging than the pointless mess of junk last year. That's just a couple things I think could make dailies fun. I don't have high hopes. I assume they'll just be providing a little passive XP from doing the easy ones here and there, and sure, that's fine. We'll see. Now, how about we touch on the actual content of Season 1? When it comes to these big season updates going forward, I think I'll just focus on giving my thoughts on this stuff, what I think is interesting or important to highlight. It feels kind of dumb to be trying to list everything off, because good chance you already know about it. If not, there's all the resources linked below, the patch notes, or it's fun to discover it yourself in-game. No point in me covering it all like it's news when it's always announced far in advance, and I'll never be a news channel. Well, first up, clearly Warzone is getting the most content here, with Rebirth Island, Alcatraz brought into Warzone, a 40-player mini BR mode, very cool. There's also a resurgence mode with respawning every 30 seconds until the final circle. You got 2 new gulags for Verdansk and for Rebirth, all the Black Ops guns ported over to Warzone. That's a big content drop for the Warzone players, to hold people over until maybe a new big map in the spring. I do think that's a very cool update, and thanks to the unified progression, it'll be some fun variety to hop in there with friends, get back into a bit of Warzone, learn and mess around with all the Black Ops guns, however they settle into the meta. It also makes it more motivating and fun to be going for that dark ether, because you can show it off anywhere. Yeah, don't have a ton to say there, but cool stuff. Now, the zombies has got to be my favorite part about Cold War, although Season 1 is clearly an off-season for zombies. They've got the Jingle Hells mode, where a Megaton has stolen the mystery box, and now you can use snowballs on the map to freeze zombies, pick up the presents, and that's how you can get random gear. Yeah, okay. And mid-season, they're planning a cranked mode, where it's just like multiplayer, you need to keep killing a zombie every 30 seconds to refresh your timer, or you die. Introducing types of difficult challenge modes could be a cool thing, but I can't say that sounds like an interesting one. Having the pressure from a timer doesn't sound like more fun than normal, just annoying, because usually if you can't find a zombie to kill, that would feel more like the game's fault than yours. But I guess we'll see, maybe it plays out differently than a standard game. There's also a cruise missile now. You can craft it with salvage. I guess it's a cheaper panic button than the chopper gunner. Seems useful. Well, most importantly, they did confirm the leaks you may have heard about how they do have a new zombies map planned for the start of Season 2. Very much looking forward to that. Right now, I'm entertained by the camo grind, but if I finish with that, no doubt I will not feel like playing the same map anymore. It seems like Zombies is finally getting more of a player base than ever before. Maybe thanks to the full cross progression, or the frustration of multiplayer in recent years, or just because they did a great job with it, and love to see it. I honestly hope this encourages them to put more resources into the co-op side of their games in the future, because I practically play COD like an MMO anyway, and I love me some PvE grind. I'd love to see it grow. Well, finally, the multiplayer. They love to say 8 new maps, but of course most people see that as 2 or even 1. The Pines Mall map is the one new one, which is neat, and the Raid remake is great. Raid is a pretty universally loved map. Nuketown Holiday is fun, but not really new, so that's really all. Then there are 4 gunfight maps. I do think gunfight is a great mode. It's cool to see it come back. It's a fun thing to party up for. The tournaments were a cool reason to go try hard mode to unlock some kind of blueprint. Outside of those, not like I really played it though. Finally, mid-season they have the Sanatorium Fireteam map planned, which does look impressive. It's apparently very big, and it looks much more unique than the current maps, being forest and forest but colder. They're also adding Fireteam duos at some point, which is neat. I don't know, Dirty Bomb is a weird mode, I still don't really love it, and I believe the weapon XP sucks now, because I think they fixed the shooting any downed enemy giving you XP. You actually need to get the kill now, so rip Dirty Bomb. I don't mind where XP is at though, like Zombies feels good. I mean, solo still sucks in comparison to group, but I guess it's just not a big issue to me anymore. It feels pretty good, especially when there's a lot of double XP events. Well, anyway, not super into Fireteam. Other stuff, there is the HARP streak now in the game, the VSAT, Blackbird, Hater, Advanced UAV. It has had many names, good to see it return. It cannot be countered by any perks, but it can be shot down. I'm not the type of person to really care about having that streak or not, but I know it's an important one for many people. I guess I could mention the new guns. They're relevant for every mode, of course. The Groza and MAC-10 in the Battle Pass, the Streetsweeper shotgun through an unlock challenge. Never gonna complain about some new free guns, although I'm all about going for base weapon camos for the time being. There's also the Sledgehammer and Wakizashi melee weapons, which do have different stats like the Modern Warfare stuff. The Sledgehammer's got slower attacks with a bigger range, the Wakizashi being faster with shorter range. Yeah, I'm not all about having a bunch of different melee weapons. Having 2 right off the bat kind of worries me, making people run around with them for more melee camos. Maybe that's your thing? I'll pass on that. Looking at game modes, there's Dropkick, where both teams fight over holding a briefcase. Sounds like a solid mode, doesn't really pique my interest more than any other though. Then there's Prop Hunt coming back. Great to see, can definitely be a fun way to take a break, have some casual fun. I assume there won't be any skill-based prop matching, where if you're too good, you get harder props. Prop Hunt's always a good time, glad it's back in the game this early. Also wanted to mention how there's still a Nuketown playlist in the game. Obviously now because it's holiday themed, but I really like how long Nuketown has stuck around. It was away for just a few days while they maybe fixed something, because I think it was gone from Onslaught 2, but it came right back. They even said, don't worry Nuketown fans, there you go. I don't know if they can keep this up and leave the 24/7 in the quick play filter forever, but I really respect it so far. I haven't been playing it at all, but I just really want it to be more permanent than the shipment crap in Modern Warfare. I hated the FOMO of it coming and going, feeling like I needed to grind while it was there, or wait for it to come back while it wasn't. I love the option always being there, so I can go play some Zombies, some Warzone, some Prop Hunt, without feeling forced to take advantage of it for some easier challenge hunting. I mean, it's honestly less important in this game than shoot the ship was in Modern Warfare, because in that game, trying to play without those maps was just a disaster, a completely different playstyle and experience that many people like myself wanted no part of. In this game, they have a few other small high-action maps that generally allow for easier movement, but keeping the Nuketown option in anyway is such a great move to me. It makes these updates so much more fun, getting new maps and modes to try out without taking what you like away. It got to be every season in Modern Warfare was like, cool, some modes I hate, and the one I liked is gone. To this day, I still see the Modern Warfare tweet replies filled with, where's shipment? Because I know it hasn't been around since Cold War launched. It's like they basically said, hey, if you want run and gun, go buy Cold War. Like, guys, they haven't listened for an entire year. They're not starting now. God, I'm glad I've escaped that. I mean, they'll never talk about the dumbass matchmaking, but in general, I'm loving reading Treyarch's patch notes. It feels like there's so much more to them, and so much stuff that I actually had a problem with being fixed and tuned. Well, anyway, in general, I guess I don't care to talk too much about the multiplayer. The good old Sbmm makes the whole charade of multiplayer pretty pointless. It's a joke, honestly. I feel bad for anyone who wants to take the multiplayer seriously these days. Ranked without a rank is stupid. Nothing more needs to be said. Although I have done that many times. My playstyle has become all about going for challenges and ignoring the gameplay anyway, and I'm pretty average skill, so I guess it affects me less. Like, I'll probably get the camos eventually, but it would be nice for the game to not be a total farce again someday. And, oh yeah, I've seen the Boycott the Battle Pass thing too, to really send a message to Activision. Yeah. I don't know if someone started that or if it just grew naturally. I really don't pay attention. Look, I hate Sbmm, and I'd love to impact them enough for them to talk about it, but I don't understand what on earth anybody thinks that's going to accomplish. And look, I have boycotted COD points since their inception. Aren't I just the best person ever? I've never spent a cent on a COD point. I mean, out of disinterest, not out of a stupid moral righteousness, but I bought Black Ops 4, which gave me some COD points. And I played through the battle passes last year, which gave you free COD points, so I have them laying around. I would think most people have some COD points laying around, and in that case, getting the battle pass is irrelevant. You do know that when you spend COD points, they don't get any money, right? They get money when you buy the COD points. The battle pass is honestly more about engagement and to get your foot in the door of owning COD points, hoping you spend on the bundles. You get more out of the pass than you spent. I mean, if anything, doing the battle pass is taking money out of their pocket. That's a joke. But yeah, they get their billions from people who don't care buying $20 skin bundles. What on earth is boycotting the battle pass doing? You're not sending a message. Activision is laughing at that. If you want to boycott the game, stop playing it. At the very least, never buy any COD points, sure. But if you stop playing, that's the one thing that truly demonstrates your sincere disinterest in the choices they've made. Let the player count drop by 1. And stop buying the game until they've acknowledged it or changed something, until it's a product you approve of. We knew this would be a problem going in, and if they keep saying nothing, it'll no doubt be a problem next year too. So stop playing it. I mean, worst case scenario, nothing changes, but at least you escaped the nightmare. For me, I'm obviously in a different spot, where this is a channel about covering this game, and I like doing that. And besides that, the base price of this game was honestly worth it to me for just the zombies and campaign. And the seasons do deliver a lot of free content over the year. I'm not going to touch any of the skins, and I got my value, but everyone's different in their judgment of value. If you come for multiplayer gameplay, and that's been ruined, and you want to make a point, then stop coming back. I just felt like commenting on that. If there's someone who's playing the game every day and telling you that boycotting the battle pass is anything other than a sanctimonious joke, a way to get attention as the holier-than-thou good guy starting a cause with some ridiculous fake activism, that person sounds like a hypocritical either moron or manipulator of morons. That's all I got. If you really want to boycott, stop playing it. At least that makes sense. Keep complaining about Sbmm though. Sure, absolutely. I'll support that all day. Keep hoping for change. We're ultimately on the same team here. But I'm always going to call out dumb things for pretending that they're doing something, because I think it's pretty funny. Also, it can be argued that selectivism hurts actual activism. When people feel like they're doing something, they're less likely to do something that actually matters. And I do care about the cause of letting them know nonstop that we hate the shady matchmaking bullshit. With that, I'm going to go grind out my Dark Ether camo now. Enjoy Season 1, or don't. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.